everyone, Michelle Murad here, and I am with the most wonderful human being that I know to mankind that is a content creator, a producer, an actor, a writer. He also creates music, I know, like in some of his scripts. I have the pleasure of introducing you to my dear friend, Adam Freed. Welcome
Thank
to
you
the
so
interview
much.
series, Adam.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Now, um, just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and what brought you out to Los Angeles.
Absolutely. So I actually was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and my parents were in the Air Force, and we moved to Dayton, Ohio when I was 6. So I grew up in the Midwest, and during that time, I got really involved in theater. There's a really nice arts community there. In fact, actually, I think Allison Janney, Rob Lowe, Dave Chappelle, and Woody Harrelson are all from Dayton, Ohio. As a little fun fact.
And now Adam
And
Freed.
and now me. And so I basically fell in love with musical theater. I got into Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, and pursued a degree in musical theater, which led me to touring the country regionally, doing a couple national tours of musicals, and then I moved to New York City in 2008. And I did a lot of theater there. I even produced my own one-man show off Broadway in 3 pretty well-known venues, and really enjoyed the experience. But then my sister moved to LA about 10 years ago with her husband, and I've been kind of wanted to focusing my career towards film and television and take a change. So I decided to give LA a shot, and it ended up being the best decision I've ever made because how you and I met. We got into this incredible acting for camera program at UCLA with the professional programs, and they just kind of thrusted us into content creation, not waiting for things to happen and just kind of create content for yourself. And that led me to working on a really special project that ended up making me start a production company called
Wow.
Chrysalis Pictures with some of my actor colleagues and to produce said project. And then we started a film festival and a podcast. And it's just like all these branches to this career tree started to form. And so that's basically the shortest
That's
who I am and what I'm
incredible.
doing now as in the Cliff Notes version.
That's incredible. I mean, just like even hearing the Cliff Notes version is so incredible and inspiring. I guess for me, like, what was the aha moment other than your sister moving to Los Angeles where you were like, ah, New York is no longer? Like, what was it that made you say like LA? Because I know film and television happens in New York for like I think they have a couple of SVUs and Law and Orders, but what
Yeah,
was
there's a lot of shows that had filmed in New York. In fact, when I was leaving, my manager really tried to make that argument. He said,
it?
there's never been more film and television here. And,
Oh,
but still there's no comparison. To me, I had felt like creatively in a rut. I was auditioning every single day for EPAs, for Broadway shows, and going out with appointments, auditions through my manager. And I was getting really close to things. At times I was hitting lots of callbacks, but I wasn't quite booking. And I just felt exhausted from the run of serving and going after my dreams and having things kind of not feeling like the door wasn't opening. I could see the light through the crack, but I just couldn't kind of break through. And I ended up working with some colleagues at a restaurant that had gotten their MFA in acting at Harvard. And as I looked into MFA programs, I was thinking maybe this could be a really cool way to go back to school and to have a different trajectory. And so I just kind of started doing some research for programs of things that I think I really wanted to focus on, but knowing that film and television was kind of at the forefront of what I really wanted to do. And I made an agreement with myself. I really didn't think the process, but I just said, well, if I'm going to audition for all these super competitive programs, I don't want to just audition. And if I don't get in, feel like I'm stuck, I want to continue growing.
mhm.
And so that was sort of the deal I made with myself that I'm going to apply to these programs that take usually 8 to 12 people out of over 2,000 applicants. So
Wow.
like, so I mean, they make it very clear to you to know that when you're auditioning.
Right.
Um, and
No
I
pressure
got
added, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, really, really good odds. And so I felt really good about the process. And what ended up happening was the universe kind of answered in the way that I didn't even know existed. The program that we got into at UCLA was actually what I really wanted to do. it wasn't that I needed to go back for 3 years and have a lot of debt and everything. I just kind of wanted to get a really good crash course on how to fine tune my theater skills to film and to get into the filmmaking process and learn everything I can like a sponge. And so, yeah, I think I didn't really think the process when I got my last rejection letter. I was just like, okay, I guess I'm moving to LA. Like that's the answer. And I was that open for it. And so it really was kind of an amazing process because I took a huge leap of faith. But I am a big believer that when you do that, I think that if you really try to make a choice for yourself, the universe is kind of the best safety net that will just catch you. So I encourage more artists and people listening that if you are ever feeling like you're hitting those walls, if you take those giant leaps, you're going to get caught. It makes it a little bit less scary. You may not know how, but I would say that my career and my life now is kind of proof that it really was the right choice and the right move for me. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit more insight to that. Does that answer your question?
That's incredible. Yes, I mean, I guess for people watching and just seeing like everything that you've created, like how does one stay so open even when rejection is like thrown into your face? It's like, nope, you're not coming into this program. Nope, you're not doing this. I mean, and then you create your own stuff. Like, what came first? Was it the openness or was it the fact that somebody said no and then you started to create something? What was
Hmm. I mean, that's a good question. And my one man show in New York City was sort of a love letter I had to musical theater and to wanting to perform and not having as many opportunities once I joined Actors Equity, which is the union for all Broadway performers. And it just, as soon as you join the union, you're a smaller fish in a bigger pond. And I just was not wanting to be waiting until the opportunity came. I just decided to kind of create this opportunity for myself. And that show I developed for 5 years of just getting to perform. When I was in college, before I graduated, I needed to work on a thesis project that I decided I was going to write a musical because I felt like at the time that there was a lot of Broadway shows that were very commercialized and there were a lot of movies that were being adapted. And this is back when I was in school in 2006. And now it's even more so. I mean, they made Tootsie the musical, they made Mean Girls the musical, they made Heathers the musical. But I just, I didn't know how. I didn't know how to compose, and I just kind of went after it. And so I think I've always been very tenacious, have a lot of tenacity to just kind of go after things and worry about how it's going to happen later. Because I always believe in myself. I always believe that the universe has a way of working itself out for you. And especially if you're positive, I think it really does make a difference. If you believe and have positivity that things are going to work out, surprisingly, they do. Maybe not in the timing that you think they are, but things kind of start to happen when you're open. So I guess I've always tried to be open and positive, and kind of that's like the cornerstones of my philosophy of how to be a successful and happy artist.
I'm almost speechless. I don't even know what to say. That's so inspiring. My next question for you is, speaking of timing, last year was not the best time for everyone, but you used the pandemic to your benefit. Can you touch a little bit on that and explain how you did so?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a film festival called the Moving Parts Film Festival, which we started in the first year to help other actors become content creators and learn how to do that. And we kind of facilitated 4 short films on social justice themes. And then as both my partner and I were kind of working actors, we sort of had to adapt to an online model just because she was going to be performing in a cruise ship overseas. And we're trying to figure out how to keep going. And so we had this online model set up where we were just giving certificates. And then the pandemic happened where no film festivals could have theater screenings in person.
Yeah.
And we realized this is an opportunity for us to really capitalize on the fact that we already have something semi-online set up. How can we make that even better? And so we got partnered with a media partner called Filmocracy, which is their own streaming platform. And they basically helped us build this virtual interface for us to do in-time screenings, on-demand theaters, chat room conversations. And it was a really interactive and creative experience that really was an amazing opportunity due to the pandemic. And then also being off of furloughed from work from my survival job, I just kind of pursued hardcore every creative avenue I could that led me to working with one of my really good friends from college as a director and a producer for her company called Rock Your Reel, where I get to direct and produce reel scenes for actors and
How
working with
cool
the
is that?
So it all worked itself out in a way. I mean, I think you just kind of have to allow yourself to have the space to know that it's okay to not have everything figured out. Um, and I also have been working on a lot of projects and scripts and writing and trying to move things forward to take advantage of people that are having this time and wanting to look at what's next. But yeah, I would say that it's not been an easy year for anyone, but I'm grateful that the year forced me into a creative avenue, which has been amazing.
That is so amazing.
I
I don't want to take any more of your time because I know you're so busy, but I just want to say thank you so much for joining us and for your insight. And if anyone can find more about you and what you do, where can they go?
Oh, well, my Instagram is Adam Freed LA,
Okay.
and I have Twitter of Adam Freed Tweets.
Okay.
Um, and you could check out my IMDb page or my I guess I don't know where else. Facebook. I'm on Facebook too.
Okay. Okay. Well, you might be bombarded by people asking for help and inspiring them for positivity and keep going. But thank you so much for joining us on our
Of
show.
course. Thanks
And
for the
it's a pleasure.
opportunity.
And I know that you have multiple auditions and things that you have to get back to. So thank you for your time again, and we will be in touch.
Thank you. You have a wonderful rest of your day, Michelle.
Aw, thanks, Adam. Bye.